Remember this one?
You're gonna get us kicked off Facebook.
Shooba-doo-doo.
We live.
Shooba-doo-doo.
We live.
It's back on a cassette. Back in the day.
Welcome everyone. Brian Basham, Travis Atwell, Paul Shern, Forgiven Soldier Podcast. This is episode number 4. We went with the social media craze and the generational differences, right? From when we grew up as a kid to our kids now. Just kind of the mental wellness that comes from it, or the lack of mental wellness. So we're going to dig in. We got some wings out here, not by a sponsor, so they do not get a mention. But I will mention Midtown Music, because I do have a guitar here from there.
I got one too.
Midtown Music, new sponsor. Go down and see Drew Odd and the boys down there. They'll hook you up. Yeah, Paul got a guitar from there. Travis is. He will. If you mention this podcast to Drew, you get 10% off anything in the store.
Do they sell fishing poles?
They
don't.
Can.
They can.
They can. Drew, get some fishing poles.
He does sell some boots. He has some boots.
He's got some nice boots.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's got the ostrich boots. Have you seen the Mike Ford wear those?
He's got some nice boots, man.
Pretty nice.
Check them out.
Check them out.
Check 'em
Midtown Music, Triplet Street, right by Dolores's. Drew Odd is amazing. And his band, what's his
Insulated?
Insulated. Yeah, they I don't think they
still play.
I know they still play, but I think he has an event coming up tomorrow, him and Brandon.
Yep.
So just them two. But them two together, acoustically, is amazing as well. So, but yeah, so we're going to get into it. I'm going to shoot it over to Travis. I'm going to eat a wing.
All right. So our topic, as we were brainstorming, trying to think of our topic for this week, one thing that has been on my mind recently, and something, honestly, that I need guidance with from some of you all out there listening, or you guys here with me, and that is this effect that technology is having on our world and our youth and kids, and social media and YouTube and online gaming, and just the whole dynamic of all that together. And how, I was looking at some statistics today, just, doing a little show prep.
Show prep.
But really, I was overwhelmed by the statistics and all, what it shows. Basically, it's causing a lot of issues. Kids and adults both are experiencing a lot of unhappiness that correlates with the use of social media and technology. Anxiety and depression statistics are through the roof. Teen suicide is through the roof. And it's a large part because this world we're living in is a little different than what we grew up living in as kids. I try to explain it to the kids I teach at school. Like, if I wanted to go hang out with a friend or talk to a friend, I had to go knock on their door and have social skills and look the parent in the eye, whoever answers the door, the sister, and say, hey, is so-and-so home? I'd like to, can we go play? And you learn a lot doing those kind of things.
Yeah.
And not only physically getting out and moving, but dealing with people and having to communicate and answering the phone and, talking to people face to face or even on the phone, because a lot of that has gone away. I look at my daughters and it's amazing. I mentioned this last week or the week before, but my 3-year-old can work that phone like no other.
Yeah.
She knows how to click the videos on YouTube and get to what she wants. And my 10-year-old, obviously is into it big time, the TikTok, and we have to dial that back sometimes because I notice a change in her attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that I was looking at, a lot of kids in the youth today, they know this is not a good thing. They recognize that it's causing them to be unhappy, but they still do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the addictive part of it comes in, because the research is showing that you get this dopamine release through likes and shares and all this through social media. Like, you get this dopamine, this feel good.
I feel attacked.
And then it goes away,
Make
and
sure
then you
you
got
like
to
and
have it
share
again.
this.
So it's like you're living in this world, this digital world that has nothing to do with reality.
Nothing. Yeah.
And you're flooded. I think they become insensitive too, because you're getting flooded with information and stimulus. Like, with social media, you're scrolling and it's constant entertainment.
Yeah.
Like, to be entertained, you have to be bored sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it's that same concept. It takes a rainy day to
What
appreciate
book
a sunny
did you
day.
read, bud? You like
Yeah.
amazing right now.
No, it's
I mean, you bring up a great point. Like, I ran out of paper just writing down notes of what you're saying. Like,
it's real, man, and
Yeah, it is
I'm
very real.
concerned.
Very, very.
But
real.
we have to roll with it. Like, it's not going to change.
No.
So we have to learn.
it's gonna get more.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good to it too. Like, for me personally, having lived in other places, and you guys too, I'm sure, keeping up with people like on Facebook that I went to college with and old teammates and things like that, there's positive to it as well. But I recently made the change and got rid of it just to see the difference, and I don't know how that'll go, but
How's it going so far?
I feel more at peace. That's
Yeah.
the only way I can say it. Just I'm not those first few days I would grab my phone and look for that little blue icon to start scrolling through it, and it's not there, and but I'm not being flooded with comparison and this is what you should be, and this is because even myself, the things that I put on social media, you put the highlights, right? Like, I put fishing pictures a lot.
I miss those though.
I
And
do actually. I was about to say that.
Well, and people, I would get a lot of people message me or call me like, "Hey, I want to go fishing,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Okay," but you see me holding these pictures of these big fish, but I was out there sweating for
Yeah.
3 hours and didn't get a bite.
Yeah.
It's not just what you see in the pictures, and that I think it goes for everything. Like, people put the highlights on social media, and then we think we need to live up to that. Oh, they're doing this, and it's just not realistic.
Yeah.
It's not reality, man. And it's we have to get a grip on it, I think, or the anxiety, the depression, all that's going to continue to go up. And I don't know what the answer is, or I don't think it's going away. So we might as well talk about it and try to learn about it.
And I don't think we're gonna. You earned yourself a wing, man. Go ahead. And I don't think. I mean, I love this podcast. I mean, and y'all both know how dedicated and passionate I am about it. But I like it because it brings up topics, right? It brings up subjects that we all talk about. Maybe with your wives or your friends or my wife, and but other people. I know they know it, but to put it at the forefront of your mind, it's like, oh, yeah, you're right. I need to, because some of the points that you said that I wrote down, and we just talked about this weekend. So my daughter is a dancer, right? So all of her friends and her have TikToks. Love it. Very, very fun at them. She's very good at them, and they're fun to watch. But it gets to the point where you're so indulged in it, right?
Yep.
That's how you communicate. Well, like Travis hit on, like, we used to have to go up to the door and talk to their parents and, have the long phone cord, just to talk to them. We didn't have the cell phone. So, and we were just talking about this, the TikTok, the biggest fear is that our kids won't have social skills or know how to, like, when somebody comes up, how to greet them, how to shake their hand, say hi. My name is Brian. Where instead they're going to text them. They got their head in their phone and they're shy.
Yeah.
So, social skills, and you said another thing, and I'll shoot over to Paul about TikTok and attitude, man. It's strange because when Addie gets in trouble, I'm pick on her because Avery's too small. But when she's been on TikTok or her phone all day, because we track it, right? We can log it down. iPhone's a great tool, right? You can log it down at this certain time, and she only has an hour on TikTok, and then it shuts it off. And then if she wants more time, she has to ask for it. We reject it. We're mean parents, whatever. But whenever she's on the phone a lot, she's got the worst attitude ever. And we've noticed when we've taken the phone away, she actually hangs out with us in the living room. And, we might watch a movie, we might do a craft or something. So it does play a big part in the attitude. And the same can go as for adults too. If you're on your phone all day, you come home grumpy, don't want to talk to nobody,
And I want to be present in my life. I want to be here. And I was scrolling so much that, it's hard to be present when you're addicted to scrolling.
For sure. And I think Paul might talk about this, but if it wasn't for, church and now this podcast and Sarah's business, the jewelry business, like, I think I'd be okay with getting rid of it because I would be present, like you said. It's probably better for my wife that I'm more present, right? And we both don't have our phones. I think we both are guilty of being on our phones when we're sitting right next to each other. So I think a change in that, maybe cut it down a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good. But
Yeah, that's true. Am I supposed to say something?
yeah, or you can eat a wing. And
I'm okay. I'm good on the wing right now. I'll get sloppy. I get sloppy wine.
Mm-hmm.
No, I miss the life without the screen in front of you. Back in the day, you used to look forward to whatever show you were going to watch. You pop a VHS tape in, like TRL back in the day, with Carson Daly when he was cool. No offense, Carson. I threw out something. I think about Carson Daly. I do. Like,
I think that's the second time I've heard you mention
yeah, I
him.
think about Carson Daly. Get it? Was that bad? Like a bad dad joke?
You get it?
Dad joke.
You just now get it?
Yeah, I was like, I'm sitting here staring at his face in my head like Carson Daly.
Carson Daly. TRL back in the day. I would
Back
record
when
it.
MTV played music.
That's right. The old MTV raps and all that stuff. But you would record it. I would record Sports Center too, man. Like back in the day. So I get up in the morning for school, throw the VHS tape in, play it, and that's what I got ready to. And I miss like being, active outside all the time. Like you did all the time now that we fill up looking down at the screen, scrolling through Marketplace, posting stupid videos, doing crazy podcasts. Like back in the day, what did we do? We were active, we were outside, we were probably sharpening sticks to make spears and
yeah.
it was just we used our imagination a whole lot more.
And those
back
are
then.
direct experiences of life.
Yeah.
Like that's and that's what's going away. It's sad.
So they said there's a book. It's
I'm about to
Navigating
kill
the Digital World. Yeah, tear into
Watch
that
it.
wing,
You ready?
man.
So
Tear into that
the
wing.
trick, one little trick. So there's on the flappers there. There's a little bone in there.
Yeah.
And it has a little cartridge, right?
Yep.
Cartilage. And then you just put your finger like that and it breaks.
Yep.
Therefore, you hold it at the other end.
Yep.
All in one. Ooh.
Would you
My
look
goodness.
at that? Done and done. So there's a book, Navigating the Digital World. It's great.
I would kill a wing contest.
If you're
That's impressive.
if you're a parent and you've got kids that are on social media and you're wanting to know how in the world do I navigate this? How do I become part of their social media life? How can I become invested in that too? How can I not be overbearing? Because it is something that's real to teenagers.
For sure.
Very real to them. Like it is their social life. That's where us back in the day, we'd do those like fold up things and you pick number 4 and then pick the color blue or you'd slide notes in class. It literally is how they communicate, man. So when you do take that away from them, it is the world's worst punishment ever because they feel like they've been cut off from everything else that's going on.
So how do we show them how we grew up and like what we got from it? All the cool stories and everything. Like it's almost like they'll have a story when they're older, but it'll be all on their phone. Like, let me go back in my memories on my Facebook and see how much fun I had that day. Where it kind of we talk about the mental aspect of it. It kind of makes us a little bit sharper because you try to hold on tight to the memories you have and I know we mentioned Hancock Park and all that stuff. Like those memories are vivid in my mind, like of all the stuff we used to do. Yeah. Right? I don't need a phone to go back and like, oh yeah, I remember. Oh yeah,
right.
I don't need that.
It reminds me of these huge events you see on TV, like the Olympics when they're running the flame by and everybody's there. You get to see this once in a lifetime thing, and everybody's got their phone. They're recording it. That becomes as important as actually being there and witnessing the event. Like I'm going to get it on camera. I'm going to record it, and you see anything on TV and everybody's got their phone up recording what's happening instead of being there and enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's a strange thing.
That's a good point. So like at Addie's dance competition, they don't allow phones. Like you can't take video of them, right? Legally. So you got to sit there and watch it.
Yeah. And
embrace it and get all the feels, right? Crying like a baby and all that stuff. And then later they come out with a DVD and you can watch it, whatever. But in the moment, you're in the moment. You don't have your phone. Now there's some people that sneak pictures and stuff, Sarah. But for the most part, I'm not saying she did. She might have, maybe. For the most part, you got to embrace a moment. So that's kind of taking it back to what we used, had to do. Like talent shows or whatever, or basketball games. Like, they had a video camera, but you weren't sitting there
Yeah.
recording stuff,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, that gives life meaning, being there and experiencing things like we're supposed to, you know. And I don't know, it's a tough thing in today's world, because it's the kids now, like we were talking about earlier. We were fortunate to grow up the way we did and then learn the technology.
Yeah.
So we know both. So it's hard for me to relate to some of the younger people that I deal with, that they really don't know the other way, another way,
Yeah.
you know.
Which is crazy.
It really is.
It's crazy to think about, like, not knowing. Like, we try to do our best of, like, definitely during, like, the summer and when there's no school, like, to be outside, to play outside, and, you know, get on the trampoline and do that stuff. But there's not, you know, what's changed is the neighborhoods.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't have neighborhoods like we used to have. But I just went and got these shirts, and I had to drive through Deer Valley. But there's kids out there playing on their bikes and walking and stuff like that. And it was cool, because I was like, I'm about to go on this podcast.
Yeah.
And this is the exact thing that we're going to talk about, is there's no kids playing out in the streets anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you asked a minute ago, what do we do? And I think that's one of the big things is get our kids out in nature and get them outside and find some engaging things that they enjoy. You know, geocaching is one thing. Of course, you use an app to do it, but it gets you outside.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like a little treasure hunt type thing that my girls enjoy. Just anything, I think, where we can put the phones down for the most part.
The parents are just as guilty as the child, though. I think the child would be out playing. I think we'd see what we grew up with.
Yeah, it's not their fault.
No, even with the technology that we have today.
Yeah, if it wasn't for us, they wouldn't know about it.
Right, but if the parents would get off their phones too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you want your kid outside playing, then get off your phone and take them outside to go play.
Yeah.
I think we should come up with something. Like this podcast, just come up with something for the community. We all live in Owensboro, right? For the community, like, just pick a day. It's like no phones. Just come out and we'll figure something out.
National Play Outside Day?
Yeah, National Play. Thank you.
Yeah. National, write that down.
Hey, you earn a wing.
Hashtag it, yeah. We call it Big O Day.
Big O Day.
It's a big O Day. Take a kid outside and play.
Blackout day. No technology.
Brandon says we can, my brother says, take them to the Chinese prison camp.
That will change their life.
That'll give them some gratitude real quick, right? Gratitude. The kids don't know how to be bored. Like I said earlier, they are always need to be entertained, and that phone does it for them. It gives them that little.
It's a constant stimulation, man.
That fix, and
yeah.
So therefore, when they don't have it, I'm anxious. I'm depressed. I don't, like something's off, and it's no answers.
So there's got to be, because I remember as a kid. So I had a Nintendo, right? I had a gaming system. Yeah. What was the Contra, the AB, select start, whatever, up down,
select start.
You remember that? That's great.
So I had the game, but it wasn't like I didn't need the game, right? It was something like if it was raining outside or something, let's pop a cartridge in, blow it first and then put it in.
Yeah.
And then I remember me and my brother, actually he's on here right now. So me and my brother, we would stay up all night playing the Ninja Turtle game, trying to beat it, right? And that was one of the times that we've connected. We're literally sitting there in our underwears, right, with our pillows and our blankets, underoos in front of the TV,
a bowl of cereal,
just playing this Ninja Turtle game. And he's 4 years younger than me, so I'm like trying to teach him stuff, and he's trying to teach me stuff about it. So that was one of the best times. So we did have that stuff. It just wasn't top on our minds.
Yeah,
it was a last resort. Like, it's raining outside, you can't go outside, or you get grounded or whatever, you get in trouble, and that was it. They didn't know how to take it away yet, I guess. But have y'all gamed? Y'all have like an Xbox? Y'all play any of that stuff?
I think I retired from gaming when they stopped making the college football game. Was it
2014?
That's the only.
Before then, I would go to GameStop at midnight the day it came out and wait in line and get a copy of it and go straight home and start recruiting and playing. I love that college football game.
It's coming back out.
Yeah,
For
it really is.
real.
And
Nice.
then I got. See, I've never. I guess I've been addicted to stuff, but that game right there, that's it right there.
Yeah.
Like I don't have an Xbox anymore, mainly because I got all this stuff now. But when that game comes out, it's gonna be hard not to get that.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
one game I did get into a little bit after that, I believe, was Red Dead Redemption
Game. Oh yeah.
or Red Dead Revolver.
I don't know.
Everybody say what's up to my dad.
What's up, Pops?
He's on there.
What's going on?
Yeah, I've seen that game, and I got into Call of Duty for a little bit. That's when the Xbox had to go because I was every night I was out here playing, and I got the headset. I'm playing online with people I don't even know, people I do know,
Talking smack.
talking smack. Not really, because I wasn't that good. I wasn't good enough to talk smack, but I mean, it was addicting. Like it was fun, and I can see how it is a problem. Because I mean, there's kids that play it all day, every day.
And I'm
I
not
played against
shaming
them.
anybody. I know I have a lot of friends that still game and they play and they're online, and but they, it's all about balance, keeping it in balance. And I think us being a little bit older, maybe more mature, we can do that some.
He
But
said it. That means it's true.
That's true. Travis said it's true.
there are it's the kids who don't know that balance that are a big concern, I think.
Yeah, I think there's got to be a way that, like y'all said, it's always going to be there, right? And it's always ever changing. Have you ever seen the movie Ready Player One?
I think I've seen about every movie that's out there.
So Ready Player One is about
go ahead.
it's way in the future. I say way in the future.
Yes,
It's like
I've seen it.
2035 or something like that.
I've seen it.
But it's every gaming is like virtual reality. Like there's no more like just playing it on the TV. Like you have the headset.
Yeah.
And they get like
That's coming.
the treadmill and everything, and you can move with it and everything. I mean, one, it promotes exercise, right? But that's where the world is coming from. So you create this fake or this imaginary person, right, of what you want to look like,
Yeah.
and all this stuff. And it's a great movie if you haven't seen it, because it kind of depicts like how sick everybody gets. I mean, they show
do.
like older people playing it, younger people playing it, like kids playing it. Like it's just a way of life. That's how you make your money and all that. That's unfortunately. It looks like
That's
I
where
don't
it's
know.
going.
That's where it's
Watch
going.
out.
I've read in China and other places, maybe even here in our country, I'm not sure, but there's like rehabs opening for
It wouldn't surprise me
for
a bit.
gaming because of the, that's crazy to think, but if it's the same cycle of dopamine, crash,
Yeah.
chase it again, maybe there's something to that.
I mean, just think
Social
of like,
Dilemma, also, for anybody out there, if you're interested in more about like the mental health and how the designers of these platforms came up with what they did, and some of the people who actually designed it are on this documentary, so it's credible, and it's called The Social Dilemma. Many of y'all may have seen it, but it's very interesting about this whole topic we're talking about. It's on Netflix, I believe.
So there's gaming is huge, like we were just talking about, but they have a lot of streamers, right? People that stream playing video games. And there was this one guy, he committed suicide, but he had a big following, right? So
I remember this.
you remember this?
Yeah.
So, and he got on one night, and it was almost like his suicide letter. He was just thanking everybody and how he didn't have real friends. He just had virtual friends out there supporting him and everything. So, talking about the mental aspect of it, I mean, literally, when I was playing that game, I was in this room. It was dark. I had headphones on. I was just watching this TV. Like, obviously, I didn't play it as much as they do. But I can see where the mental part comes in, because you're talking to a mic. That's it. Nobody's really talking back to you, the chat and all this stuff like this is. So, Julie Rice says, "What is this?"
It is.
What is it?
It is what it is, Julie.
See. What is it?
Speaking of that,
What is it? What's up,
I
Jules?
totally lost my train of thought. What I was about to say.
I saw
Jules-
Big Baljoski
it'll
in
come
the
back.
jumping jacks this morning. I did. He didn't like me. I don't think.
I know what I was going to say. The online gaming thing.
Yeah.
People, and I've noticed this with kids that I teach, they can say things behind that screen, type stuff,
Ruthless.
cyberbullying, abuse,
Ruthless.
whatever you want to call. and not get punched in the mouth for it.
Yeah.
Like we
real.
would, you know, if I mouthed off to one person at the boat dock and I said the wrong thing, I might have got punched for it. Or in Hancock Park. These kids can say anything and have no consequences for it.
None.
And it's only because they're hiding behind the screen and typing, right? The same thing with these message boards, even with college sports, and you can be pretty courageous.
Yeah, you can.
And say things on a keyboard that you would never say face to face.
Yeah, not at all.
And therefore, you're living in this alternate reality again. None of it's reality, and it's becoming reality because that's the way of the world.
Yeah, and it is real, man. I mean, you see, man, the heartbreaking stories. There's people that we know, man, that have been on that the end that you don't want to be on, and you don't want to be the one being the bully either, no doubt. But you got to think the person that is throwing hate out like that, there's something going on with them too.
For sure.
But the one that's receiving it, man, it's heartbreaking. Because it is real to them. They take it seriously. Yeah. It does break your heart, man. It hurts your feelings.
Yeah.
And I say it's exactly like what we would feel like back in the day when somebody would say it to our face. It's the same feeling that they have. They're like, it's still reality. It's still words being said. It may not be verbally coming out. It may have been typed out, but it still hurts. You know, the exact same amount, man. It's crazy.
Especially when you're younger, and what matters the most to you is what your peers think and what they say and how other people view you. You know, I mean, trying to fit in like middle school, that was a full-time job.
Tough. Yeah,
that was a tough time of life.
I could say it right now, man. I hate your hat backwards. Okay,
there's still people that say that.
All right,
to my face.
To your face.
To my face. Yeah.
You got to punch him in the mouth.
Want some? Come get some.
No, I tell you why. I didn't do it. I didn't punch him in the face. I went into the VFW.
Yeah.
So I became a member of the AMVETS.
Yeah.
And I became a member of American Legion, and I was going to become a member of the VFW.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think, you know, since I served, I'm a younger guy compared to people who do go. I think we need to get younger people in that community. And I don't drink. I don't smoke. Like, that's not my scene, right?
Yeah.
But I'm trying to change it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It could be my scene. I mean, you don't have to drink to hang out, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, I go in there. I have my manila folder. I'm looking professional. I have the hat on. I always have the hat on backwards.
Yeah.
It's just something I'm comfortable with. So I walked in there, and the bartender said, "You got to turn your hat around if you're going to come in here." It shook me a little bit. I'm like, "Excuse me, like what?
You want to fight,
little lady, right?"
Oh, never mind. I'm sorry, little lady.
Exactly. I'm a bigger guy, and I'm like, what for? You know, I was like, I will, but can you just let me know what for? And she said, out of respect. I said, respect for who? She said, the veterans. And there was like 3 people in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, you mean like me? And she's like, can you please just turn that? I'm like, no, I'm going to turn around. I just want to know why you're coming at me like that. But I turned around, but it kind of left a little sour.
It does. So to the backwards hat thing, okay. I could say that. I could say it. And if it was just you and I by ourselves, then it only affects you and I, right?
Yeah.
We're the only witnesses to that comment. But if it's said online, I mean, everybody and their mother sees it.
Like,
if you can get it down fast enough,
Brian,
you know, I mean, and it's sad, man, because then it becomes not only hurtful, but instantly humiliating, man. I mean, it's just very embarrassing. Go ahead.
No. Well, I was going to say, Julie made a good point. It also follows people to adulthood. I see so many adults that still have trouble going to social functions because little Johnny made fun of their nose, weight, etc. in middle school. And they are so anxious, people will still think that way.
Yeah.
Bet.
You know, I go with that with my daughter. Like, she has big ears
bet.
like I do, right? And I can remember people, you know, like talking about my big ears when I was little. And it bothered the crap out of me for some reason. You know, when you're little somebody or young and somebody's like says something that bothers you. But she's going to go through the same thing. So just trying to, like, listen, it's going to happen. Ready. Yeah, you know, it's all right.
I got a butt chin. Everybody talked about my butt chin.
Better to hear you with, my dear.
Better to Yeah, that used to be the thing before I had a beard back in the day growing up.
I remember,
I
remember your chin now that you said it.
I got a butt chin, and like it's just one of those deals.
We all have something, right?
Yeah. So I was kind of perfect.
Brings up my eyes.
No,
you
I
still
wasn't.
are.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Sarah makes fun of my nose. She
what?
I got a button nose.
You got a precious nose.
Cute as a button.
She thinks it's the funniest thing in the world. Boop. and I mean, I'm not cautious. It doesn't really bother me. Maybe it does. Maybe we'll get it out right now. But just stuff like that is like, now I'm like cautious about my nose, like what my nose looks like, and I'm always messing with it. Like when I'm around, I don't know why. I mean, it doesn't, it doesn't really bother me, but going back to like middle school, just like a simple comment like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, you got a button nose, right? Or you got big ears. Like, and you're both laughing and you go away like, man, I do got big ears.
It is
Yeah.
it's
and then
crazy.
you just live with it.
It's
throughout
crazy.
your life.
It does stick with us. Julie's right.
And
it
that's,
sticks with you.
Paul, when we were talking before the show the other day,
Yeah.
you did kind of a social experiment with social media and effects and things. You want to talk about that a little bit?
I don't want to go back. No. Yeah, I did. It was I just wanted to know what our youth were experiencing, and it was probably about a 2 to 3 month deal that I went and I downloaded every single app that I possibly could download that had any sort of like social media platform to it. So it didn't matter what the app was. I downloaded. I had Tinder. I had, you name them, dude, and like I had them
Farmers
all.
only.
Sir?
Farmers only.
Farmers only. I had those. I mean, any line of communication I can have with other people. But what I did, the study of it was, I had a separate phone number that was on an iPad, so I could create a different account. So I had my account as the adult, and then I went in and made an account with the iPad phone number as a 13-year-old boy. And I wanted to know, is the content modified for the age? So is Snap, is Insta, is WhatsApp, or all of them, TikTok, any of them like that? Are they gonna modify the content based off of your age? And the answer was no. The scary thing is that when parents, when they think that they're really micromanaging their kids' social media, they're not even close to micromanaging it. The stuff that they're exposed to, like the hashtags that are being used, we would never, ever, 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 ever guess. Like, you mean hashtag this? I mean, it's the dumbest things, like made up stuff.
Yeah.
It's like code.
But they have like 1.2 billion people following that post.
That one.
Or that hashtag, yeah.
But it'll lead you down a dark hole. And after it's said and done, I'm not joking, man. I was like, I would hate to be a teenager growing up right now because of the pressure, because of what you're exposed to, the content that's out there.
Yep. Trying to get your hearts and your likes and
well, I mean that, but look, man, I mean, it don't matter where you go, like pornography on Instagram and like all these other, I'm not throwing Insta out, under the bus on this, but it's probably one of the easiest ones to access pornography if you're a kid trying to find it. You just type in the right hashtag and there you go. You're on it. And Twitter, the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's so big. There's no way that they can shelter it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for the age, I mean, it's everywhere. So if you use the right hashtag,
oh, mom and dad will never know.
Exactly.
So if they go and they look, they go and they look and like, well, there's no hashtag this, an obvious. Like, yep, he's looking at pornography. She's looking at pornography.
Yeah.
It's just like some random thing, and a parent laughs at it because they're like, "What the heck is that?"
Yeah.
But literally, man, it was one crazy experience, and I'll never forget. Like, I was coming out of it, like thinking. I even looked at my wife, Kenny, and I was like, "This is absolutely insane. Like, this is crazy that our kids are growing up with all this access to anything in the world they want to know about." Like, I got, there was I don't know if I should say it, but I will, because it's just one of those things. We had a parent get upset about a topic that was brought up in a church service, that the word pornography was used in a church service, and they thought their middle school child who had Instagram
Didn't
already,
know about it.
yeah, didn't know anything about pornography, that they were too young to hear about it. And I was like, okay, that's all I could say was, okay, I understand. Yeah. But in my head, I'm thinking, your kid has been exposed to way more than the word pornography by now, like easily.
Well, what better place for him to be? I mean,
why not learn it at
church?
Right?
Yeah, I mean, that is a real addiction also. That's kind of
crazy.
An epidemic in our world because of how easy it is to access on these devices and everything else.
Yeah, it's I mean, there's times that we'd be sitting in the church and a preacher will preach about different subjects, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like, is my daughter old enough to hear about this stuff? But again, in the same mind, I'm like, well, what better place to learn about it than from the Bible, what the Bible says about that subject.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if she has questions about what that word was that he said,
Mm-hmm.
then I can go back to the Bible and say, well, this is what the Bible says about it, right? It's bad or it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's going to find it on Instagram. She's going to find it on TikTok. But it's going to be the slang.
Yeah.
The slang version of everything and how it's right. How it's made and to be made in people's eyes as it's okay to do this.
Yeah, I don't want some dude from California teaching my kids about sex. I don't want some like random character teaching like just bad stuff, man. I mean, like even on YouTube, like the kids shows that they watch, like their attitudes, how they handle situations, like the simple social skill aspect of like sharing.
Yeah. And that
working together,
physical.
how to respond to a situation. Like what I've picked up on is if my kids have watched YouTube too much, I know it because they're acting just like the characters that are on, and they're the way they how they talk.
Yeah,
some of the ones my daughters watch are like mini Kardashians,
pretty much. Yeah,
like materialistic as could be, like sassy, all about like beauty and cars and money and that kind of thing. That's at least how I interpret it, and it changes my daughter's attitude when they get into it too much. They start acting that way. I always tell them, you're being sassy. You're watching too much.
You know what's crazy too? Like you mentioned it earlier, like those moments. Like what happened to heroes, man? What happened to people that would stand up for somebody? Now it's as soon as something goes down at school or a fight breaks out, everybody picks up they grab their phone. And
you're a snitch.
Yeah. Well,
if you try to say the right thing or do the right thing, you're a snitch pretty much.
Yeah, but they want to record it. Like they don't jump in.
They want to be the one that goes viral.
They want to be the one that goes viral.
Yeah. There's been some bad cases of that where people get seriously hurt and there'll be somebody standing around like laughing, recording. Yeah, you're right.
And it's horrible, man. It's like, man, it's just you wish we could rewind, go back, man, and just
like technology is good though.
It is good. I do my banking on my phone.
No, I'm not. What I'm saying is it can be used for good.
Yes, it can.
But it's just like anything. Marijuana can be used for good, right? But then you got these people over here who abuse it.
Yeah, it becomes their identity.
Yeah. So it's the same thing as internet and social media. Like obviously, social media could be a good thing.
Yeah,
now there's a lot of dark stuff in there, but if you use it correctly, like this podcast, hopefully, and get it out to the right people, it could be used for good and spreading love and spreading worth and all that stuff instead of. So I think Julie just said something. We just have her on this podcast.
Might as well.
Come on, Jules.
Julie, pick a date.
Julie's solid. She got a lot to say.
Oh, she got a lot of knowledge, a lot of education too.
She's smart.
She's
smart.
But you have to normalize it, right? Yeah. You got to make it like it's not everything.
Right. To me, it's all about balance. Like so many things in life, the older I get, the more I realize, like this whole deal, this whole thing I'm going through, life, is about finding balance.
Yeah.
And no matter what aspect of your life you try to pinpoint and look at, like, okay, how can I make this better or feel more at peace about this? It's all about balance and accepting the good with the bad. It's kind of like I would love to be able to protect my daughters from all this, but I have to let them live, like we talked about last week or week before. How can I just make sure I'm doing my best to protect them, but also letting them live and experience it, because it's going to happen,
So talk about the good that could come from. Okay, so this generation that we have now, Gen Z, man, they're the most responsive generation.
What generation are we?
We're like a tweener, aren't we?
Yeah,
aren't
we're like
right
X,
on the border
right,
of a,
right after X.
Millennials.
Well, they throw us in the millennial. Some of them do.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's
we're the unknowns.
Y or something.
They put a special name on it. special name.
We are special.
We are special.
I forgot what it is.
But so them being the most responsive Gen Z, like so they could type out a hashtag. So walkout, for example, like the day before they did a walkout at OHS, they just put the hashtag walkout and it hit everybody in the school. It spread like wildfire. It shows you how responsive they are to whatever the call is. And so it could be used in a powerful way.
Yeah.
You got to think about Gen Z.
I tell you, for $5, you can reach 1.4 thousand people.
Yeah, for $5 you can.
$5.
But just think though, I mean, so for the good, so with our youth, we come up with different hashtags for call response deals. So like our Busy in the Borough, BZNBORO. That's a hashtag. It's like a service day. It's like we're going to be down here at this location at this time, and we're going to clean up around the police station or the parks, whatever. And you drop that, and the response that you get out of it. Sometimes, like, okay, we did, oh my gosh, it's for the veterans. Miss Kathy's going to kill me for not remembering it. Oh my goodness. It's for the veterans that have it, the Mullins.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Gold
about?
Star?
Not Gold Star. It's Miss Kathy's going to kill me. But anyway, to get to the point, the response that we got at Davis County's football team, man, going down helping set up our youth group. I mean, we had so many people there that would take usually a long time to get. We were done in like 10 minutes because of the response that happened out of it. So social media can be used for a very powerful, good reason and way.
One of the things we did with Owensboro Recovery Project early on in this coronavirus deal.
Kentucky remembers.
A lot of people.
You're welcome, Kathy.
People in recovery need these 12-step meetings.
Yeah.
To stay plugged into these meetings and staying connected to the group of people. They need that guidance and that support, and that was all taken away, right? During COVID, we couldn't meet. Nobody could meet.
Yeah.
So one of the things we did on Owensboro Recovery Project on our Facebook page is we had people from all over the country, the state and the country, coming on at 7 p.m. every night sharing their story.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
y'all had a big, like,
And
I remember that's I remember watching it.
Yeah, a lot of people tuned in, and I felt like we made a positive difference in
You
that
did.
way. People, of course, you couldn't have 12-step meetings, but you could get some experience, strength, and hope
For sure.
listening to this person share their story. And
Well, as soon as you came on and did your live, right, on Owensboro Recovery, I called you the next day.
right,
And you remember that? And I
Yeah.
was like, Travis, we got to do something.
yeah,
Like,
I do remember.
because
that.
I haven't been through recovery, but I feel in my heart that's what I need to be. I need to be helping people. There's some way I can help somebody, right? So that's kind of where all this started. It's
Yeah.
like, man, I seen him do it. Like I can do that, and
Yeah.
I get a couple of my buddies to do it who've had different life experiences, and I mean, I don't think we haven't had the same life, right? After high school, even through high school. I mean, y'all had a different life than I did. I was a little hellion, but
Brett County.
Brett County. When
The
I
Hornets.
started, it started in Hancock. It finished in Brett County. But yeah, it can do a lot of good. I was gonna say something. Paul. I kind of lost what I was gonna say.
I don't know what to say. Do I need to start
social
rapping?
media being good.
Okay.
So they're I mean, I just noticed by starting this podcast, like how many people I could reach, right? And you mentioned the hashtags. So finding the hashtags and finding which hashtags are good and which are bad, because it might seem like it's, innocent.
Yeah.
It's not innocent, and I don't
Yeah.
want them people. I mean, I don't care who watches it. Everybody needs help, but I just don't want to be involved. But going back to like my daughter on that TikTok page, so we don't allow her to watch I think it's the For You page. So that's where anybody and everybody can post. That's how Matt Ramsey makes it big, right? So we don't allow her to watch that, only who she's following, and then we track on who she's following. But it's so easy because there's no way to stop it. There's so easy to hit that button just to see what's going on and then go back to it, right? So we're actually talking to her about just getting rid of it, right? And it's like,
Did she have a meltdown?
It's like not really. Actually, she was like, she took a breath. This is how adult it was. She was like, can I have it a couple more days? I mean, she was very responsible about it. Like, yeah, you're right. It is a problem or whatever. But But we haven't taken it away yet, so I don't know how big of a fuss that will be. But I think it will make like her life better, right? Just from not needing it and all that stuff. I think that's where the struggle comes in.
Sure.
The need, the want, the fix. Let me get my fix. And I'm a guilty. I wake up and I check, like what's going on Facebook today, what's going on Instagram today, you know, and emails the same thing. Like let me check my emails real quick, But you can get there's a guy named Frank Crinitti. He's the number 2 car salesman in the world. So I followed him. I went through his program when I was selling cars. He teaches a lot of good stuff, right? And the first thing that he mentions is because Facebook or social media is the lifeblood of any sales nowadays, right? That and going face to face with people. So, but it was shocking because the first thing that he said was, when you wake up in the morning, don't check Facebook. Like, read a book, read a newspaper, do something else, right? Drink your water, drink your coffee, stay off your phone. You're not on your phone until you hit that dealership. Yeah. And then once you're at that dealership, it's non-stop, balls to the wall. Try to sell as many cars as you possibly can. But it's all about connecting with people. Anyways, I'm not going to do his class for him. But the weird thing is, like, when you're waking up, that's the first thing I grab is my phone to turn off the alarm, and then I check to see what's going on Facebook, what's happening.
And I think most people do that,
Yeah.
It's just a reaction. And I think that's where it should start is, when you're waking up, don't even bother with your phone, right? Your phone's going to be there throughout your day, right? I don't know.
I'm going to stop at Walmart and buy an alarm clock.
Yeah, I haven't had an alarm clock.
A digital one, too.
It has
to. With the red numbers.
Analog. If you're going to go old school, go old school.
That'll remind me of football camp. When that thing would start
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, see, in basic training, we didn't need alarm clocks.
No.
We had a drill sergeant. He would flip you out of that bed real quick.
Was he one of the Wayne's brothers?
No.
I think Coach Stockdale was our alarm clock, actually.
Yeah. Oh, Stockdale.
But, yeah, man, it's a...
Well, Mac Roberts. Mac, we were just talking about you, man, in ICP.
ICP.
It was a short segment, but you missed it. But I think that's where it starts, man. I think we should try it. Like, I mean, obviously right now I need social media, but so everybody that's watching can watch us, right? But I think just shutting it down, right, and not using it when you don't need it.
I'll
should be a
probably
tool.
never do this, but I often ponder, could I be responsible and take care of my responsibilities as a man with family and everything, just having like a flip phone, keeping it in my glove box.
I know it.
For emergencies, like to text, hey, I'll get the girls for practice or I'll take them, blah, blah, blah. Communicating with for family issues. Could I live in today's world like that? I don't know. I like little social experiments too. I might have to try it and just not a flip phone, but a regular phone. I don't know.
One of those Nokias.
Yeah, it's funny you said that because you said you should use it as a tool. Yeah. Like, I mean, you don't walk around with the, screwdriver, just walking around with it, use it when you need that tool. Right? Like, hey, I'm going to spend an hour doing work, right? And then do as much social media as you want to in that hour. Yeah. And try to be as productive as possible through it.
I use Google a lot on my phone.
Google
in the grocery store. Let me Google and see if I can.
Me and Siri are close, right? I use her a lot. Him. It's actually an Australian guy. Very cool guy. You should meet him.
Very good dude.
Siri?
Yeah. Mine's up from Australia.
Okay.
Nice.
You can change them.
Yeah.
But
nice.
It's like a mail order.
Sound like Keith Urban.
Mail order, bro.
That was a joke. Anyways, man, I had a really good point, and I was writing down stuff. I was doing so good. Man. But it was basically like comparing stuff. But I know we said we weren't going to hit on Hancock Park, but it was so good. And there's so many people in here on the comments that have mentioned Hancock Park, like Hancock Park Live. Yeah. Would have been a cool name.
That'd have been great.
Yeah. Maybe
like TRL back in the day.
Yeah, maybe we do a podcast at Hancock Park.
right there in the middle of the road.
Right there.
Hey,
in the
let's
middle
bring
of
the whole
the gym,
crew
bro.
back. As many people
Yes.
as we can get.
It'll be like a
Joey
Nelly,
and
that Nelly
Jason.
song. I'm going down, but it'd be like all of our people.
Yeah. I think we
Okay.
should do it. Let's try it once we get further down the road.
court?
Yeah. We need to borrow somebody's Wi-Fi.
Well, and another. Well, no,
Somebody's
they got to get better
Wi-Fi.
internet. Yeah, we
Patty
can't do
Ross
it with
has-
TDS. It ain't happening.
yeah.
With TDS, it ain't happening.
Well, we can make something happen.
We can pre-record.
We can
pre-record
we
it.
can do the podcast, just not.
Yeah,
The,
we'll pre-record it and then we'll post it live.
yeah. We'll do something. That'd be fun.
That'd be really cool.
So we got about 10 minutes. I knew what I was gonna say. When did you first get a cell phone?
In high school, I can remember having to go to the library to one of the 2 or 3 computers in the library at the high school and getting on the internet. And I think that was 97, 98.
97, 98,
As far as getting on the internet, I remember that being a cool thing. Like, but there was only a couple computers in the library we could go do that.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't much you can go to
No,
at that time.
it really wasn't.
There was. I'm trying to think.
But
like,
as far as a phone, I don't know. I think maybe I had one when I went to college. But it wasn't, to text, you had to, actually there wasn't even texting in the beginning.
No.
no.
And then the texting came where you had to hit the button.
yeah, the
So many
T9.
times, yeah.
If you wanted to
T9.
do a C, you had to hit
Yeah.
A 3 times.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that big of a thing. It was
God,
more
that'd
of
be so
a,
good.
huh?
That'd be so good to have that back. Like,
Yeah.
You can
no
still
long
get it.
text
It was a
messages.
tool. It was a tool.
Yeah.
5 minutes later, it just says call me. That's it.
When did you get a phone first?
It was in 2001 in Wilmington, North Carolina, at Sun Mobile, and it was one of those flip phones that had them toothpick antennas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Razor?
not a Razor.
No,
I didn't have one of those yet.
Oh no, the Razor was a big fat flip phone.
Yeah, but I remember getting that
I
thing.
think
I
it
thought it
was
was so cool,
indestructible.
dude. Yeah, I thought it was so cool.
I remember having one at one time that was basically like a walkie-talkie. It was a Nextel.
Yeah,
Nextel, yeah.
Yeah.
My dad,
Push to talk on
my
the
dad
side.
had one, and my brother. They were doing the trucking business, and I got one of those, and I could just push the button. And
I got mine. I was out of basic training. I was in my first unit. It was in Oklahoma, and then my mom would always call the payphone in the hallway, and there was other soldiers in that same hallway, and they would just pick up the phone and start talking to my mom, right? And there's no telling what's coming from these soldiers' mouth.
Yeah.
Because women come up there, you didn't know who they were, whatever. So they're answering the phone and all this stuff. So I would never get to talk to her because they would all be talking to her. So I remember she coming up to visit, and she's like, "We need to get you a phone." I'm like, "I got a phone, right? A payphone, right?" I wasn't big into it,
Yeah.
right? Pagers, I would more rather have a pager, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know why. It was just a dream, I guess. But I remember going to Sprint and getting a flip phone. Had that push to talk thing. That was cool, but I had nobody to push to talk to. But I remember getting a razor, and I got a belt clip, and I wore it on the outside of my uniform. I thought it was really cool. Kind of lift my shirt up, pop it open, and call somebody, But that was
like
my,
a realtor.
Yeah, that was my first phone, and I thought I was pretty tough. And then I got a BlackBerry shortly after that with a little roller on the side, and that's the start of my smartphone.
the Blackberries, they
The
were
Blackberries.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was a recruiter in the Army, so everybody had BlackBerries. Had no clue how to use them.
Well,
I still don't know.
it moves fast, man. Think about. I know it was about 2008 when I got my first iPhone. The iPhone 3 or 3G was the first one I got.
Yeah, the round body.
Yeah, and it was a game changer. And think about that, roughly 10 years ago, how far they've came.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, yeah.
It's ever changing, and
Yeah.
it's going to keep changing. We have no, we got to roll with it. But
So I think we got a couple of things out of this. We're gonna do a podcast at Hancock Park.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun. We should make it like a
on trash, let's do it on Trash Day.
Hey, when is Trash Day, Hancock Park? If anybody's
We coming.
watching?
Tell them.
We're coming. We're not gonna throw anything. We'll go to jail now. Like,
unless we can
we
get the
can
old
try
trash
it.
man to come out of retirement just for one more rendezvous, you know.
if anybody knows their names,
I hear no
There was
bail.
one we called Mario. He had curly hair, dark hair. Mario, if you're out there,
Mario, if you're out there,
get your squad together.
if y'all know Mario, tag him, and we'd love to have him on the show. Maybe we'll get some trash people. What are they called? They're called sanitation experts.
We're pulling our scooters
Did
out.
I just make that name up for them?
Yeah,
They don't exist.
Sanitation
Technology.
experts.
Well,
Oh,
the people who ride on back of the trucks are no longer, man. They come
yeah, it's
through.
all
Technology is even taking that away.
We should work on that. We'll work on that. We'll get some trash guys on the show.
At McMahon Way, they still have guys that they get out of their truck.
Oh, they do?
And they roll the trash can up to it.
Where's that at?
But them dudes, I bet they'd light us up. Like,
Nobody
they're
lighting us
young.
up.
Julie said train track. Do the podcast on the train track?
Yeah,
Sure.
right there behind Jesse Joe's
Jesse-
old house, that little building that we used to
Yeah,
smoke
By
little
the
Swisher
tennis
sweets
court?
in, and had our dip that would make us sick as a dog.
Was you ever out there playing home run derby on the tennis courts?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, Jesse was left-handed
yeah.
and
Still is.
still is. Could hit a dang tennis ball or baseball like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Well, he would pull it, and it would go over into Jessica Snyder's backyard.
Oh, that's right.
Well,
yeah.
We had to take turns going to
'Cause
get
the
it.
chow.
Because the chow.
Oh my gosh,
Well,
Ginger.
He pulls one. It was my turn.
Wasn't her name Ginger?
Sounds
Fact
right.
checked us on that one, Julie.
Sounds
Call
right.
Jessica. Ask her, is it Ginger?
The last time I went into that yard, jetted across, got the ball. Dog sees me. Turn around, fly back to the fence. Dog's coming.
Yep.
About halfway up. And that fence wasn't very high.
No.
But got there, boom, he was on me. Took a big old chunk. I mean, he got me good. Took a chunk out of the back of my leg. And, yeah.
So we got some questions. So Kevin Kyle would light y'all up.
Bring
Did
it.
Fleener get clotheslined?
Yes.
It's absolutely as Ginger. She
All right.
said.
Yes.
Fleener
Ginger, yeah.
getting clothesline. I can tell that story. Halloween night, Hancock Park was the place to be. We were throwing toilet paper. Miss Robbins,
Yeah.
we toilet papered her tree because she was our teacher. We really liked her, but you know, we
Yeah.
take off running because they came outside. We're sprinting in the dark across the grass from 2nd Street to the back street. Jesse Joe's parents had a clothesline back there.
Yeah.
In the dark, you can't see a clothesline.
No, you can't.
Fleener was fast,
Yeah, he can move.
full speed. Caught him right here. I
Man.
mean, took him. His legs went flying up in the air. It looked like somebody had taken a knife to his neck.
Oh.
It was bad. Like we were,
Yeah, he got
and you know
lucky
how
on
it
it.
is when you get
Yeah.
hit right here. Like he was doing all that. I thought he was gonna die.
Yeah.
it was bad.
Scary.
He had a big
That's
gash
crazy.
across his neck. That that was a big.
You know,
Big
I was
scene.
driving through Hancock Park, and I was thinking about how it was back in the day. It's about 10, probably 12 years ago, and I was a little bit like, it was Halloween is when it was. I was sad, man, because I was like, man, where's the punk kids at, man? Like, there ain't nothing hitting my car, not a single egg.
They're on
Yeah.
Snapchat.
Nothing.
They're on
Snapchat.
they're on
But
TikToks.
as soon as I gave up hope, like 5 seconds later, I hear a thump, and it brought so much joy.
Yes.
The egg hit my car. Like, I was
Nice.
like, they're still here.
Yeah.
It still
They're still
exists,
around.
man. This
Yeah.
is
Alive.
great. They're here. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, we diverse and started talking about other stuff other than social media. But
Yeah.
to tie that
But
in,
call response. We can hashtag meet us at the park this time, this
Yep.
day. Shenanigans
let's use
um,
social media for good.
for the good.
Let's get people out there, and we'll make it a fundraiser as well for Paula White.
Yeah.
Paula White
That'd
Foundation.
be cool, man. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, let's we'll get the money rolling in and get that foundation up. I guess it's still going, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's still going. So we'll fund that. There's a couple things. I know we said no Hancock. It's so easy to talk about Hancock Park though.
Yeah, it is.
Kirk, brother, he said you wear your chin very well.
Hey, ditto.
He also said that's probably what made you start doing jump soles is Ginger.
Yes. Good point.
Hey, I remember Matt Hay getting clotheslined on the dirt bike. Y'all remember
That was intense. Yeah,
That was intense.
Yeah, that was intense.
You
You remember him driving by in the Toyota
Kirk was
truck
on
and
the
the
back of
snapper
the dirt
mower on
bike
the
with
back
Matt.
of it?
Huh?
With Matt taking off and I think it was, I don't know if it was Dustin drive. I don't know who it was that was driving the truck, but just remember seeing Matt on the snapper riding lawnmower about 40, 50 feet behind it, going about 50 mile an hour.
Yeah,
in
that
front of
was
us.
me and Jared Fuquay.
Oh my god,
That was during the Jackass video.
Yes.
That's on the Jackass
Yes,
video.
it is.
And he went flying.
Yes.
Some of the most fun I ever had with Fuquay is when he had that little red and blue light. And we would go to girls' games, girls' basketball games, and then on the way home it'd be dark, and he'd get up behind somebody and flip that little thing on. They'd pull over, and then we'd just zoom on by.
That's funny.
great.
Jared, he's still crazy. He was a music king back in the day, man. It, like after high, he would have what
Crucial
was that?
Conflict.
No, he would
Bone
have
Pony, man, he's big. He got me into. We went to
LimeWire or something.
Napster.
Napster. It was a Bolt, Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
Which one was it? There was
Probably
something
LimeWire.
else.
I don't know.
He could probably tell me. But Julie said we can do a whole podcast on Matt Hay. We're gonna have him
Easily.
we're gonna have him on the show. Him and Mac Roberts. We're gonna bring the team back together. The infamous. That's the night that I snuck out for the very first time in my life, and the last time that I snuck out in my life, because we did it right that night. Any closing thoughts?
Hey, before we get off here, if anybody out there listening has any suggestions or guidance, what you do with your kids to monitor social media or strategies, things that help, drop them, man. I could always use some guidance on that because my girls are getting at that age. My oldest is 10 years old, and anything I can learn to make that situation better would be appreciated.
So let me tell you this. So last week we talked about being a girl dad, right, and how we need to change and get better as fathers and stuff. What have y'all done in that week? Have you done anything different or purposely tried to change something that you were doing before that wasn't so healthy?
Well, I know, taking my girls to practice this week, it was on my mind. So I was more present with them, talking to them about their life, what's going on, and really just trying to listen instead of always telling them, hey, pick your feet up, or don't get my floor dirty, don't do this, don't do that. Just trying to listen to them more and taking them individually, volunteering to take them individually to practice this week. Like, no, okay, I'll take her by myself, and then I'll sit with her. And so I've done that this week, which has been good. And obviously the thing I'm doing with trying to get rid of social media and being there more.
It's in the back of your head now. I mean, we talked about it last week, and so you're all constantly thinking about the moment and the right now and just trying to live in that and keep the distractions very minimal and just being intentional about spending time with them. So, Ella and track it, our schedules are crazy, always going, but they have practice Tuesdays and Fridays. Well, this past Tuesday, Cammie had to do all of it. And us having that conversation, it just made me think, man, that's going to be my thing. Like, I'm going to take her to practice. I'm going to be there to let her know I support it. I think it's going to be awesome. I want her to be like proud that my dad really does care, and I really do care.
Yeah.
But no, it's just being more intentional about moments like that, trying to create memories.
And like you said, it was in the back of my mind. Like, okay, I need to not be so aggressive with her. Not always tell her no, like kind of just talk to her, right?
Yeah.
Just talk to her and get to know her. But so I use the Bible a lot because she goes to Valor Christian, so they teach the Bible every morning. They gotta learn verses and all that stuff, and they gotta repeat them. So I'd ask her a verse, and I did this morning, and she told me, right, and I'm like, what does it mean to you?
Yeah.
And she came up with some like generic answer. And I'm like, well, that don't make sense. I'm like, read it again. Like, read it louder so I can hear you. So she read it again, and I was like, now what does that mean to you? And she's like, that means like if I have any troubles, I give it to God, and He's gonna see me through it. I'm like, that's what you need to be listening to, right?
Yeah.
That's what in your mind just over and over. Not some TikTok song that you heard and walking around doing all these dances. You need to read that verse and go it over in your head. Make a TikTok about that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
See how that gets people involved.
That's real.
Because it's all about, because she struggles a lot with worrying and anxiety.
Yeah.
And she read that verse that's one of her verses for today. And she read it. And I'm like, that's God working, telling you, like, just ease your mind, right? Give it to him. Let him go through it with you, right? But I will say this: the competition, I got a little angry at her just because she wasn't listening. So I snapped a little bit, but it wasn't as much as I have been. And I think through the week I was more attentive, right? Like listening to her talk and listening to her worries and all that stuff. So and that's why this, to me personally, not just because we created it, but I think any podcast that talks about this kind of stuff, being vulnerable and being open and trying to learn, like, because we're still learning as fathers, right? We all got young kids, and I even think when they grow older, you're still gonna learn, like, how do I deal with this, right? They're 30 plus years old and they're still having this issue. But I think just being out in the open, you'll learn a lot of stuff. We had that girl dad one, like, okay, yeah, I need to be a better dad, right, to the girls. So yeah, that was my closing thought. Got anything else?
I think you wrapped it up pretty well, man.
All right. Well, next week, Monday, I think everybody's still going to be here, right?
Monday.
When does softball start?
I'm not sure. I have to check.
Well, I know. I won't say until it's for sure.
I'll be in and out in the coming months with softball.
Got to be a good dad. And we respect that. So we'll have the topic. We'll let y'all know. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Yep.
Whoever's still here, just throw some hearts and likes and laughs and mad face or whatever.
Shares.
Just still share it. You can still see it. Blow the chat up. We appreciate everybody who. I think we had a lot more people talking to us.
Great.
And everything.
Yeah. Smart people
we enjoy
too,
it.
like Julie.
Bring up some questions.
Really smart.
Topics.
Julie's smart.
Julie got to come on the show.
She does.
We'll get Julie on there.
She'll educate us.
I know Sarah says she's going to do a wife's takeover. So tell your wives.
Okay.
Get ready. That's probably later down the road, though.
I'm so scared, dude.
I am too. God bless everybody. Sponsors Midtown Music. Go check them out. I'll put it in the link so you can go to their page.
$2 million mattress.
Boutique.
$2 million mattress.
$2 million mattress. Alaferum is what it's called. Very comfortable, very affordable. You can get it at Walmart. I think $200 for a queen bed. Soft. It's kind of that memory foam stuff. You got that Instacart. So if you want to get your groceries delivered to you, go on there. They're really good with it. High ratings for Instacart. I checked it out. I did a little research on what I'm talking about. And then Basham's Blingin Boutique. If you're not on the page, get on the page. Sell some or buy some jewelry.
Yeah, buy it.
Get Kristen on the page there.
Mm-hmm.
Rock some stuff at your part. All right. God bless everybody. Boom.